Will the House please come to order and members kindly take their seats? Good afternoon. The devotional today will be led by Representative Tom Stevens of Waterbury.
Good afternoon. So today, April 23rd, marks the 461st anniversary of William Shakespeare's birth, we think, and the 409th anniversary of his death. The last time I commemorated Shakespeare's birth here, I spoke about the same text I'm using today to illustrate how, after all this time, we can not only continue to learn from his works, but how we can still connect with them, and how, when we connect with them, we can experience the feeling that the more things change, the more they stay the same. This text is an excerpt from a play that's considered apocryphal in the Shakespearean canon. It's thought that his contribution to this play, Thomas More, was limited to this speech and the scenes surrounding it. To set things straight, the play is not an accurate or full retelling of the history as Shakespeare or others in the Elizabethan period would have known it, but it hits the high points. The following speech illustrates the public conscience of the man and unfortunately shows how little humans and humans in power have changed. The first central theme in the play concerns immigration and refugees. Much of the play concerns the manufactured inflammation of the fears of the local population and how poisonous those fears and actions can be. In the play, Sir Thomas More faces down an angry mob set on ridding London of immigrants and rises to speak of tolerance for those referred to in the play as strangers. He says, "Imagine that you see the wretched strangers, their babies at their backs and their poor luggage, plodding to the ports and coasts for transportation, and that you sit as kings in your desires, authority quite silent by your brawl, and you in ruff of your opinions clothed. What had you got? I'll tell you. You had taught how insolence and strong hand should prevail, how order should be quelled, and by this pattern not one of you should live an aged man. You'll put down strangers, you'll kill them, cut their throats, possess their houses, and lead the majesty of law in line to slip them like a hound. And where would you go? What country, by the nature of your error, should give you harbor? Go you to France or Flanders, to any German province, to Spain or Portugal, anywhere that not adheres to England? Why, you must needs be strangers. Would you be pleased to find a nation of such barbarous temper that breaking out in hideous violence would not afford you an abode on earth, and then whet their detested knives against your throats, spurn you like dogs, and the like, as if that God owed you not or made you not?" That is the stranger's case. In the play, the speech quiets the potential riot and contributed to More's rise in service to the government and to King Henry VIII. But More's story does not end on such a high note. More was Catholic, and later in his career, while still in employ to the king, he publicly opposed Henry's claim that he was the supreme head of the church in England. Defiant in the face of Henry and his ministers, More refused to take the oath of succession because the preamble of the Act of Succession rejected papal authority over English ecclesiastical affairs. More had not supported Henry's divorce from Queen Catherine or his marriage to Anne Boleyn. Henry failed to secure papal approval to annul his marriage to Catherine. More's refusal to accept Henry's claim that his marriage to Catherine had been illicit meant that he was in direct opposition to the king. More resigned and was later convicted for treason, and he was executed for refusing to agree to the Act of Succession, which would have also named Henry's two sons heirs to the throne. In 1935, Sir Thomas More was canonized by the Church for this refusal and for supporting the papal authority over the claims of supremacy by the king. What does that have to do with us? We discuss the importance of words in this building every day. However, we use them because our way of including or excluding, of opening our doors or of closing them. All of Shakespeare's works are anchored by a phrase from Hamlet, where he says, "The purpose of theater is to hold, as it were, the mirror up to nature," which to me means that the theater, or these words, should respect and reflect on reality like a mirror, showing us both what can be good and what can be cruel in our human nature and how it affects our times. So let us pause heading into the rapids of this session and reflect on and respect our work here, even as we experience the inevitable disagreements along the way. We are not strangers here. And as St. Thomas More asks, let us be kind to the strangers among us.
Members, we have one Senate bill for referral this afternoon. Senate Bill 124 is an act relating to miscellaneous agricultural subjects. Introduced by the Senate Committee on Agriculture, please listen to the first reading of the bill.
S-124, an act relating to miscellaneous agricultural subjects.
Now the bill's been read the first time and is referred to the Committee on Agriculture, Food Resiliency, and Forestry. We have a joint Senate resolution to take up at this time. JRS 23 is a joint resolution relating to weekend adjournment. It was offered by Senator Baruth and was read and adopted on the part of the Senate. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that when the two houses adjourn on Friday, April 25th, 2025, it be to meet again no later than Tuesday, April 29th, 2025.
Now you've heard the reading of the resolution, and the question is, shall the House adopt the resolution in concurrence? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and the resolution is adopted in concurrence. Are there any announcements? Member from Burlington.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know many of us have had a chance to introduce our interns, and today my intern is in the balcony. Nathan Reeder is a junior at the University of Vermont. Nathan is a political science major from Syracuse. He's active in student government at UVM and is very passionate about Burlington and housing issues in our city and our state, and is exploring staying here after he graduates. I hope the body will help me welcome Nathan, who is seated in the balcony.
Will the guest of the member from Burlington please rise and be recognized? Member from Rutland City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have two special friends visiting me from Rutland, and I would respectfully ask that the body welcome them to the People's House. They are Laura Estabrook and Michael Johnson, and they are seated in the gallery.
Will the guest of the member from Rutland City please rise and be recognized? Member from Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have two guests. They are located in our gallery. The first one you may recognize as a former representative to this House. His name is Dave Templeman. He's now residing on his farm, lambing. Don't we wish we could have joined him? My second guest is a strong advocate on the environment. She resides in my town of Charleston, one of my 12 towns. Anyhow, her name is Peggy Stevens, and I'd love to have the House welcome them. Thank you.
Will the former member and the guest of the member from Morgan please rise and be recognized? Member from Richmond.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have two middle school student guests from Richmond joining me here today. Finn and Morgan have been visiting House Education, and I would like to welcome them to the People's House.
Will the guest and the member from Richmond please rise and be recognized? Member from Waterbury.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is not part two. Today we have representatives from the Association of the Vermont Credit Unions. About 428,000 Vermonters, or 2 out of 3, are members of a credit union. The first credit union in Vermont was chartered in 1935, and today there are 16 credit unions domiciled in Vermont, with about 80 branch locations. Vermont's cooperative not-for-profit credit unions are a critical part of the state's economy, and they are hosting a reception this afternoon at 4 p.m. in the Cedar Creek Room with refreshments available. So if you could please join me in welcoming representatives from Vermont's credit union community to the State House. Thank you.
Will the guest and member from Waterbury please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Milton.
Madam Speaker, I have some special guests of homeschoolers accompanied by their parents in the balcony. This group was formed several years ago as a way for homeschool students in St. Albans area to get together and have fun. They take art, music classes together, go on educational field trips, and play. Some of the field trips they have taken include a tour of the Vermont National Guard, the Sea Caves at Arthur Park, Vermont Fish and Wildlife Education, swimming in the Brewster River, hiking various trails around the area, and now the State House. Different members do various sports such as archery, skiing, swimming, and dance. There are groups like this around the state that provide educational and networking opportunities just for plain fun. The focus of each group is different. Some are more project-based, while others travel more. But all are a chance for homeschool families to enjoy time with each other and provide unique education for their students. The freedom and opportunities for homeschoolers in Vermont is unparalleled. Homeschool families are from all walks of life that want to educate their children in a way that works best for them. Homeschoolers in Vermont thrive in one of the best homeschool states in the country. On another note, one of the parents that is here with her son is actually my constituent and serves on my local school board in Milton, Allison. And I don't know if I should say this, but she was on the committee to get me here. But anyways, let's not go there. Madam Speaker, please help me in welcoming them to our house.
Will the guest of the member from Milton please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Milton.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the redeployment of the airmen of the 158th Fighter Wing, the Vermont Air National Guard. They arrived back here on home station just yesterday. They're on a nearly 4-month forward deployment to the Asian Theater, flying mission sets and working interoperability with their sister units at their location. They were there keeping the sword sharp, so when called, they are ready to fly, fight, and decisively win our nation's battles so that the rest of us can sleep peacefully in our beds at night. It is this uniqueness of service that deserves our eternal gratefulness. As a graduate, retired, too old to be in their ranks any longer, I could not be more proud. They are all at home enjoying some well-deserved time with their families. Thank you.
Let's welcome them back. Are there any further announcements? Member from Cabot.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to introduce my nephews Thatcher and Ira and my sister-in-law Savannah Crossman. They are here visiting with their homeschool co-op. I also want to highlight that Savannah has worked as an agronomist with the University of Vermont and at Kansas State University, and now owns and operates her own farm in Fairfield called Heart and Soil Farm. Will the body join me in welcoming them?
Will the family of the member from Cabot please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, orders of the day. Members, we will begin with House Bill 10, which is an act relating to approval of amendments to the Charter of the City of Barrie. The bill passed the Senate with a proposal of amendment that is printed in today's calendar. Member from Cambridge.
Madam Speaker, the Senate has proposed one amendment to H10, an act relating to approval of amendments to the Charter of the City of Barrie. Within Section 2, the Senate has proposed to clarify Section 110 relating to the fiscal year by striking out that it will end on the last day of June. Only the inclusion of the yearly start date is necessary. On a straw poll of 10-01, your Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs moves to concur with the Senate.
The question is, shall the House concur in the Senate proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have concurred in the Senate proposal of amendment. The final bill on our action calendar today is House Bill 243, which is an act relating to the regulation of business organizations. The bill passed the Senate with a proposal of amendment that is printed in today's calendar. Member from Pownell.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It was March 19th when we last spoke about this bill, which was attempted to harmonize language within statute for the sake of the Secretary of State's office and Business Services Division. The Senate has proposed a series of amendments that are small, and I will read through them right now, beginning on page 1648 in today's House calendar. The first is to section 1656, adding the language service of process to the title of that section, since much of what follows pertains to service of process. There is a new section, 1657, pertaining to the certificate of good standing. This language is added to ensure that the Secretary of State's office has the statutory authority it needs to issue certificates of good standing to all eligible businesses. It turns out that in this subsequent section, there was not entire clarity around when that there was express authority for the Secretary to issue the certificates upon request. And subsequent language to Section 7A, Section 8A, and over on page 1650 and beyond, we see adjustments to the existing statute and the insertion of a clause that refers back to Section 1657 for all business types. Finally, the Senate Committee on Finance noted on page 1652 that a report that the Secretary of State shall issue did not include the Senate Committee on Finance. The last amendment here rectifies that oversight to add the Senate Committee on Finance to the other committees you see there in both chambers that will receive this report. On a straw poll of 902, the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development concurs with the Senate's amendments, and we ask for your support.
The question is, shall the House concur in the Senate proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have concurred in the Senate proposal of amendment. Members, that completes the orders of the day. Are there any announcements? Member from Swanton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Railroad Association of Vermont, they would like to invite all legislators to a reception tomorrow, 4:30 to 7:30 on the tracks behind the Capitol Plaza. And although the train won't move, the vintage antique rail cars and dining cars are quite something to see, and the event is obviously always very well attended. Thank you.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none. Member from Poultney, can you please offer us a motion to adjourn until Thursday, April 24th at 1 p.m.?
Madam Speaker, I make a motion this body stand in adjournment until Thursday, April 24th, 2025 at 1 p.m.
You have heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and this body stands in adjournment until tomorrow at 1 p.m.